So today we're going to talk about life is what you make it. And it can be a real controversial thing to talk about that. Because look at that idea. Life is what you make it. Life is what I make it. That means that there's something saying in there that, oh, the life that I'm creating, the life that I'm living is about me. So I want you to think, we've had some rainstorms in the last couple days, and there's been a little bit of lightning, at least out by my home. And when you look at the lightning, it's really an indication that there's electricity. And if we went back thousands of years, people back then wouldn't know what electricity was. And yet today we flip on a switch and we have lights. So electricity has always been there. It's not a new discovery. We didn't create anything, but electricity has always been a part of our lives. But what happened is someone recognized it. And as they became aware of it, they said, okay, now aware of it, now what can we do with it now that we're aware of it? So we came to the understanding that there's a power in electricity, and that power can light lights, it can heat homes, it can run batteries, it can do all sorts of things. Quantum physics piggybacks on that and says that all things are everywhere present, everywhere as possibility. So that the idea of that chair is present everywhere in the universe, all at the same time. But the second consciousness focuses on it. It collapses it, is the term that quantum physics uses, into the demonstration or into the visualization or experience of the one focusing on it. So there's a collective consciousness in this room that has come together and visualizes everything happening here. So consciousness is not individualized alone, but it is coming together collectively. And so we create individually, and yet we create collectively. Okay? So we go back to Ernest Holmes when he talks about there is a power in the universe that is greater than we are, and we are using it every moment of the day. And the idea is we must believe that this power, this God presence, is infinite. And when we believe it's infinite, everything logically flows from it. It logically flows that we are creative. Why? Because the power that created everything is centered in us, therefore we have the ability to create. We don't have the ability, we are always creating. You see, the thing that's happening that you're coming to understand, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't, you're coming to understand that you've always been creating your life. And now you're saying, how can I create it consciously? How can I be the person who channels their thought in such a way that I create the experience of love, or of joy, or of peace, or of wisdom, or of abundance, or of perfect health? Instead of going through life blindly, allowing unconscious thoughts that are radiating everywhere in us, around us, and through us to create it for us. It's logical then that everything radiates on how we respond or react personally and emotionally and in thought to things that are going on around us. Are you following how this is a logical sequence? God is infinite, therefore being infinite, I must logically be an extension of it. If I'm an extension of the creative power that created all things, it is logical that I have that power within me to create. Having that power within me to create means I'm always creating, because God is always creating. And if I'm always creating, I will be creating either consciously or unconsciously. And see, that idea of the difference between conscious and unconscious is the key F word. And that F word is not forgiveness. That F word is freedom. You have the freedom in your life to choose consciously or to be unconscious and let the law work. And if you're unconscious about your choice, then the average of everything around you will be your experience. So let me go into this average idea a little bit more, because there's a difference in the average experience of people who are living in Plano, Frisco, McKinney, Collin County, Denton County, Dallas County, Texas. But there is a consciousness of it, would you agree? Do you think there's a different consciousness in Lubbock, Texas? I would say there is. And so people there are going to have a different consciousness about them. What about the people that live in Japan? Will they have a different race consciousness surrounding them? There'll be a different average experience. If you went to Africa, there would be a different average experience there. If you went down to New Zealand and Australia, there would be a different. Even within countries, there will be different averages of experiences. So the experience we're having in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is very different than we might find in the rural areas of Mississippi, or in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, or in the San Francisco Bay Area. So there are all these consciousnesses around there. But here's the one key element, is that no matter what consciousness is the race consciousness, the individual consciousness is unlimited for any individual who chooses to empower themselves and grasp their freedom and to make the choice. So as Danielle is free right here to infinite possibilities, there is a Danielle on the other side of the world that has the same possibilities available to her. Now, they're different people. They're not the same people. But everyone is exposed and has the opportunity for everything. The question is, where is consciousness being pointed? Where is the directed thought going to? You'll say, how can this person, let's take the Rockefellers. How come the Rockefellers' family history is always about making money? How come they're always wealthy? They've been brought up in a consciousness that Rockefellers are always wealthy. Everything in their arena, in their aura, is about that consciousness. So they have money. It's natural. It becomes easy. It becomes effortless. Now, if you would like to have the Rockefeller consciousness, you have to think that way. If you would like to have the consciousness of Mother Teresa and being of service to the world and giving and giving and giving, you must start to think like Mother Teresa. See, no one is special. The law is working equally the same for each and every person, and no one gets special treatment. You would like to think that you're special? You're not. I'm not special. Here's where we establish the personal relationship with the divine. It's how we use the law. Because when we use the law, the infinite divine always says yes to us. It's always saying yes, and it creates from that yes and experiences it through us as it. The idea of with this deep relationship with God and this freedom comes what? Tremendous power and tremendous responsibility. Because you can't point to that as being the issue. So I want to go to Ernest Holmes right here. And I want to go into this because I think this really says a lot. It says that in all prayer and affirmative thinking, we must turn away in thought from the appearance of disease. We must turn away in thought from the appearance of disease. And he goes on and he says, the condition is not ignored, but it is recognized as something that can be changed. So when we see poverty or we see disease, we don't deny that it is the experience happening for someone or ourselves right now. But we see that that can be changed, that it's not permanent, that it's not destined to always be that way, that it doesn't have to last any longer, because we know that thoughts are things. And everything has to have a cause. Without a cause, there cannot be effect. So if there is a disease, there must be a cause to it. In order for the disease to disappear, we must reverse the cause. So it goes back to the idea we must turn away from the appearance of disease. So if we're struggling with the idea of a cold, and we're getting the sniffles and that type of thing may be happening to us because we haven't developed the consciousness that a cold will not be a part of our experience. We accept that we have the cold, and now we go within and we start turning to the idea that the divine knows perfect health. And that there's an impress within the divine and a mold within the divine, an idea within the mind that says for every individual there's perfect health. And we tap into that idea and we say, no, I don't need to have a cold. The cold is not my truth. The cold is just an outpicturing because I was fuzzy in my thinking. I wasn't thinking clearly of health. And here's the thing. We never beat ourselves up. This is one of the greatest things that happens to New Thought people. They get into this idea, they hear that they are powerful, that they are creative, and when something happens and their life is not the way they want it, they get out a hammer and they beat themselves over the head with it, saying, my God, why did I think that? Or they may go through a slump and they won't come to service or won't be around their community because they're afraid their community will judge them for, why did you think that? Why are you having an abundance problem? Why are you having a relationship problem? Why are you experiencing disease? Why aren't you in a state of happiness? No, don't think that. Can you all say that? Say no. Don't think that. It's just that simple. Because if you come here and you've got an issue and you walk up to myself, a practitioner as Jean, a practitioner as Roxanne, or any other community member, we're going to say, okay, I hear your story, but let me tell you what your truth is. Yesterday in our foundations class, we had our Saturday workshop. All the foundations people, raise your hand that were there yesterday. And there were twice as many. I guess the rest are sleeping in bliss. How many others have taken foundations that weren't here yesterday? Raise your hand. So about 80% of the room. In this day, it is not about lecturing. It's not about listening. It's about the experience. And we do what we call an angel walk. And in that walk, there were 19 people at our home, and 19 people got to hear God spoken into their ear. Because as they walked up the line with people on either side, we told them that you are perfect, that you are love, that you are abundant, that there's nothing you need to change. You're beautiful. You're healthy. They heard that 19 times. Here's the other thing. They spoke it 19 times as well. So when you're not feeling connected, you come to a place like Agape and you say to someone, I need to see my truth, the first thing they're going to look at you and say is, I know who you are. You're God in expression. And you can be nothing but perfect. Did you hear that? You can be nothing but perfect. And so what we're creating here, it's like a recharge port. That you're an individual battery, and your battery runs low, and you come to service on Sunday, and we plug you into one of these chairs, and underneath the chairs, you may not realize it, but the Marriott has put a special adapter that's plugged into a fuel cell that's tapped into the infinite mind of God, so coming up through the bottom of your posterior is a charge of God. And you thought it was just a simple vibration. I don't know that that's ever been spoken in New Thought Church before. And when it goes out to the ethers on camera and we publish it tomorrow, it will cause a wave of joy throughout everything, because then people from Africa and Asia and Europe, they're going to want to come to Agape because there's special chairs here. And some of them are plugged in a way that I could press a button and make you jump out of your seat. So be careful if you try to fall asleep. Chris, are you sleeping over there? Because I'm going to have you jump high. The thought is this: spiritual mind treatment deals with disease or an unfavorable experience because we're aware that it's thoughts that have been ranged wrongly or unintentionally. And so when we go into prayer, we just simply rearrange our thoughts and we demonstrate a new condition. Charles, does prayer work? Yes, Charles says. Because he knows, because we did something and the prayer worked immediately and effortlessly. Mary, does prayer work? It works every time. If you've not had the opportunity to experience how it works, take time to write a prayer request. Take time to talk to Jean and Roxanne afterwards. Call them. Call me. But get the idea. Or talk to someone here. There are people in this room that have taken enough classes that would love to pray with you. Who would love to pray with someone in here? Look at, see the hands go up? There's no shyness about praying. Everyone, the greatest gift you can give is to pray with someone. Because when you pray with them, what do? You see them as God. Here's the kicker. To see someone as God, you have to see yourself as God first. Ooh. It's selfish to pray. Do you hear that? People say, why do you love to pray so much, Lee? Because every time I pray for someone, I get to affirm God as me. Who wouldn't want a little of that? Well, I do. I can see you're all quieted from daylight savings time today. Here's the thing. Let's talk about this idea. Remember I talked about electricity being everywhere present? And we talked about the law being everywhere present? Let's talk about love. How many people would like to have more love in their life? You don't need to have it. It's right where you are. It's always been there. It always will be. You don't have to do anything but become aware that you're perfect. To simply breathe into this moment, letting go of the past. Let's do that. Close your eyes for me. Take a deep breath. But when you're taking this deep breath, breathe into your heart. So breathe into your heart. And now breathe out everything that is not loving. Breathe it out. Now breathe in a feeling of complete and perfect love. Breathe it in all the way in. And now let that love be released. Now in your mind, let go of all the past and be present right in this moment. Right here, right now. Feel the energy that you are. Feel it radiating in your body, through your body, and moving outside your body. Feel the energy of the person next to you. Feel your energy vibrating with that person next to you. Know that it is happening for you. Realize that energy and matter are exactly the same thing. And then love is an acceptance of the divinity of the infinite within you. So right now, claim that divinity. In your mind, claim it. And know that anytime I desire to feel love, I go within. I breathe into my heart, and my heart breathes love into the rest of me. Gently and easily open your eyes. We call ourselves the Agape Center for Spiritual Living because we are a center for spiritual living centered in love. Agape simply means unconditional love. Hear this. The love of God operating through our heart. So when we breathe in to our heart, it's the love of God becoming aware of itself as us in our heart, and we breathe it out, we give it to the world. Isn't that truly a beautiful way to create life? Isn't that the way we desire to live? To be in love, first with ourselves, because when we're in love with ourselves, we can recognize God. And when we recognize God, we know our truth. And when we know our truth, we can see through the eyes of God and see that everyone is that same individualization and perfection.